Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the GRC Summit 2020. I'm Luigi Locatelli, responsible for Alliance Partners across EMEA for MetricStream. It's my pleasure today to introduce our guest, Jamie Thompson, partner KPMG UK. Jamie, it's over to you.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, Jamie Thompson, so partner in the UK. I look after GRC transformation and powered risk, so helping clients right from the vision stage all the way through to implementing MetricStream technology.
Okay, thank you very much, Jamie. So can you let us know or explain what is powered risk, please?
Yeah, no problem. Happy to, Luigi. So if you put up the first slide, slide 2, it just gives a bit of an overview in terms of, when we talk about powered, how it links to the enterprise and the expectations of our stakeholders. And you see 3 key areas then we talk about. So when we talk about connected, this is how we connect across the lines of defense, how we connect across the different organization constructs, and it could be your third parties or your fourth parties. What we're starting to see in the marketplace is a lot more connections across all the lines of defense and across different enterprises within the ecosystem of GRC. And on the right hand side, we've got trusted. We all need to demonstrate to our employees, to our investors, to all our stakeholders that we can be the most trusted organization. There's a lot more scrutiny and a lot more focus in terms of how we behave internally and how we behave externally. And what joins those two together is powered. And when we talk about powered, powered is a different way from traditional methods of transforming clients through the use of cloud-based technology. It's outcome driven. So, we want to end results in terms of better risk information up to date. It's transformative in terms of, not just thinking about the technology, but thinking about the business change, the leading practice, the domain expertise in the particular sector that you're in. And then finally, enabled by cloud-based technology, for example, MetricStream. By combining the leading practices, the technology, the content, and all the processes, the outcomes that you achieve as a business are a lot quicker, and we actually de-risk that implementation and transformation that you're embarking on. So Luigi, that's a bit of an overview in terms of connected, powered, and trusted.
Thanks for moving through the solution. And let me ask you another question. Why it is, or first of all, it is quicker than traditional approaches?
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And if you look at slide 3, it's just a bit of a snapshot in terms of why it's quicker. The first thing that we do is we start with a model answer, and when we talk about the model answer, this is the point in terms of leading practices, leading processes from a risk perspective. Leveraging the largely out of the box MetricStream functionality. So that allows clients to be 80% there before we start the detailed design. So when we come on site, we're talking about 20% that we need to tailor to the organization domains. So we're starting with a model answer and then being able to design it a lot quicker. The second point is in terms of reducing your delivery and program risks by starting with the upfront design. By having methods and accelerators, then we can do it a lot quicker, but also a lot less risk to clients. So that means outcomes are delivered on time and to budget and deliver the benefits that we've agreed up front. But actually, when we do a transformation, it just doesn't start with the implementation. As we know with GRC technology, there's other use cases that you can bring onto the platform. So you could start with IT risk, then you could go on to third-party risk, operational risk. So it's a continuing evolution in terms of using the assets that we deployed on the cloud-based technology. And then if you look at the next slide, Luigi's mentioned the traditional approaches, and what we see is typically some of these GRC transformations could take a long time to actually implement. 12, 18 months. Actually, by using Powered, using out-of-the-box MetricStream functionality, we can get those use cases down to 4 to 6 months. So a significant saving in terms of time, budget, and the effort required from our clients to deliver the Powered business transformation program. And this model is that we use across a number of different use cases. So we're into more of a journey going forward. Like I said previously, starting off with maybe IT risk, then going on to third-party risk, then operational risk. So we're continually iterating in an agile manner all these different use cases going forward. And later on, I'll talk a few case studies, to bring what a Powered transformation feels like for a number of our clients using MetricStream.
Okay, thank you very much for this interesting explanation. And can you go a little bit further and try to explain us what are the outcomes or the benefit that you are expecting from our customer in adopting this approach and methodology?
Yeah, no problem. So on slide 5, we just highlighted some of the key value that we're agreeing with our stakeholders in up front, and that's actually starting to materialize with using Powered. So the first one is insights. So what we're finding is that at the board level, the C level, there's a lot more quicker real-time insights in terms of the data that you get from GRC tools. For example, at one client, right at the C level, we managed to give them a complete view of control testing status, which actually drove some action in terms of what was happening in the organization. Flexibility is pretty key at the moment in terms of within a fairly dynamic risk environment, lots of emerging risks, lots of disruption. So this platform in terms of the adjustments of risk assessments at the product lens, processes, organization, we're a lot more agile in terms of how we approach risk. And the days of frequent assessments that happen maybe every 6 months, are gone. I think there's a lot more agility in terms of how we manage risk and how we mitigate risk and how we make risk-informed decisions from right from the board all the way down through the operations. Trust is a big topic. So one of the things that's driving a lot of the outcomes and the benefits is showing the regulator in terms of you've got a lot better view in terms of your risk and compliance and assurance posture within your organization. And I guess the final point that we mustn't forget is that we need to do this in the most efficient manner possible. So a number of clients are using Powered and using the technology to drive automation and efficiency through how they do risk management. And that could be reducing the volume of risk champions within the business, reducing the volume of control testers within the business, or all of which allows them to get better outcomes, but at a more efficient cost, at a reduced level of headcount. So these outcomes that we get across these different dimensions, they are delivered quickly and rapidly, so you can start achieving the benefits right from day one, rather than waiting sort of 2, 3, 4 months down the line from when you've implemented a GRC technology. So Luigi, that gives a bit of a flavour in terms of some of the key benefits and outcomes of Powered.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jamie. And I'm sure that you have already implemented in many cases, Powered risk and this approach. Can you give us some flavors on some real example of implementation where you have seen benefit in your customer base?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so on the slide you'll see 4 real client examples using MetricStream in terms of what we've delivered. So the first one is on enterprise risk management. So this is for a UK and US global energy company, and right from the start of the design through to the go live, in the space of 4 months, we delivered the enterprise risk management capability. And this was not just the technology, but the business change, the change champions, the training, aligning to a new risk taxonomy and a bit more agile risk management as well. And in terms of the outcomes, we enable them to have a real-time view of risk right across the operations, all aligned to the NG specific principal risks that we helped define with the client. So in a small space of time, they basically had a new technology-enabled enterprise risk management capability. We mustn't forget the third line of defence and audit. So in this case, within 4 months again, we digitized their internal audit function and helped them move to agile auditing. And when we talk about agile auditing, the ability to quickly update their audit plan based on new and emerging risks into the audit function, allow them to, I guess, raise real-time issues in terms of findings, at any point in time doing the audit life cycle, and then in terms of from a reporting perspective, give them flexibility in terms of how they report the end audit or the issues to the stakeholders, all driven through business self-service, and this could be the dashboard that the business see in terms of their audit findings and progress on audits. And again, this was delivered in 4 months. So rapid implementation across the global audit operations. So you start seeing a bit of a theme in terms of the speed that these applications can be delivered and the outcomes that they get. In terms of the third case, this was I guess more of a compliance and regulatory driver that the client faced, and they needed better lifecycle management of their policies. They needed to show how policy exceptions were being managed and approved, largely from a compliance perspective, and then finally having an attestation process that they can certify both employees and business units against the relevant compliance policies. So this is a huge, complex global organisation in the energy sector. So in 3.5 months, starting with the process design, going into the MetricStream solution for policy management, into the build, into the test, and into deployment took 3.5 months. Right from the start. And this is a large, complex organisation. So again, rapid implementation and deliver the outcomes in terms of giving them a life cycle management process with the ability to mitigate and manage attestations and waivers across the policy lifecycle management process. And then last and not least is we've got I guess again a more of a compliance and regulatory driven need, combined with the benefits in terms of real-time information, self-service, driving risk and controls down to the first line of defence. And this covered operational risk, mainly loss events and risk and control self-assessment, and then also compliance, which was fundamentally control testing, both together in an integrated manner. And right from the digital design through to the deployment, this was delivered in 5 months over pretty complex landscape, and this was I guess one of the key outcomes in terms of this client was the adoption rate. So the adoption rate of the MetricStream product was 4 times greater than their old system. And one of the key areas that the client did is that they invested a lot in business change and stakeholder management and engaging the first line of defence on the MetricStream powered risk journey, and that the fruits of that came out in the high levels of adoption. And if we sort of step back across all these use cases and implementation of clients, why is it so fast? So the first thing I would say is that we bring the powered assets, the accelerators that allow us to quickly design, implement, and transform what clients do. There's definitely a lot more of a mindset change with clients in moving to out of the box applications, rather than customizing MetricStream. So that definitely helps with the speed of delivery in terms of from a transformation perspective, and we've definitely seen that over the last 2 years or so in terms of that mindset change. And then an agile approach and quick decision making. So making decisions during the design phase and sticking to those decisions so that you can deploy that pretty easily in terms of and keeping the speed, doing the build, test, and go live cycles. So Luigi, that gives a bit of a flavour in terms of some of the case studies in powered risk using MetricStream.
Oh, thank you very much, Jamie, for sharing this. Those are super exciting and interesting use cases, and I'm pretty sure that we will continue in this direction for the next future. Let me ask you my last question for this session. Based on your experience, what are the key lessons learned in those kind of implementation, or more important, in this kind of approach? What you can tell us, what you can share with the broader community here?
Yeah, okay. So actually, one thing that I think clients have learned a lesson on, I touched on this in the previous section about the case studies, is about the minimal customization, moving to out of the box. So there's definitely been a big mindset change with our clients in terms of that. And I think clients have learned the hard way in terms of customizing any tool, actually, not just GRC technology. So people are talking about market leading tools out of the box, and that's definitely pretty key, and a lot more clients moving into that direction. If I look in terms of some of the, I guess, lessons learned from these implementations, the first thing is making sure you invest in business change. So 20 to 30% of the effort on any program of a GRC nature should involve business change, stakeholder management, training, engagement, and adoption. And we often find that clients don't put that level of investment in the business change that allows clients to adopt and use the tool in the best manner. So that's the first point. The second point is data and the quality of data that's going into the platform. So we often find that risk control test data may not be fully mapped and aligned to the new data model. That's based on old legacy ways of working, and over time has just increased. So you've got layers and layers of controls, layers and layers of risks. So we do find the data content going into the platform can be either missing, or actually it's just too much. So when the business come to use the platform, then what we're finding is that the quality of the control data may be lacking. There's gaps in the risks. So the levels of adoption are low, and obviously there's a huge amount of remediation effort to actually improve the quality of that data. So always focus in terms of the data content and the data quality, and bake that into your plan. And I guess the final point is on internal resources. Often we find clients not invest in the right level of internal capacity and capability in their project team. So, for example, things are done at the side of the desks rather than being 100% dedicated to the program. Don't invest in the functional and business analyst skills. So when we leave the program, they're not sufficiently up to speed in terms of how the new process is, how MetricStream works. So I would say always overcommit your resources to the program, and don't try and do it on the side of the desk. By doing that, you'll get more knowledge. You'll retain that knowledge in-house. You'll be able to make quicker decisions. You'll be very engaged in the design, and also you'll be able to manage the stakeholders on a more of a full-time basis rather than a part-time basis. Pretty key in terms of that internal capacity and capability in delivering successful projects. So yeah, Luigi,
Okay.
those are key lessons from our clients.
Okay, thank you very much for the insightful lesson learned, and I'm pretty sure that we all here are learning is a journey, and we are improving the way that we are implementing also solution, and based on your real experience and on the customer needs, we will together make it smoother and easier for our joint customers. So really, again, thank you very much, Jamie, for sharing your experience and bringing your your knowledge of the market and your knowledge on the customer base. I would like to thank you again. And any closing remarks, any additional comment that you would like to share with the entire community here?
I guess the key thing is, just making sure, we're using the accelerators, the market knowledge that's out there already, and sticking to out of the box processes, and always focus on the end outcomes that this risk transformation process can give you better insight, better connections across the lines of defense, and a more trusted organization, both internally and externally with regulators and stakeholders.
Okay, super. Thank you very much again, and see you at the next GRC Summit.
Looking forward to it. Thank you all.
Thank you all.